All right, and with that great little pre-show meeting we had, I think it's a great time to start this podcast.
I agree. We hashed some stuff out.
We did. We got everything figured out. We got all the skeletons out of the closet, and I think me and Joey are good to go for this episode.
I think the only thing we actually worked out, though, was we sped up the scroll speed of the bar?
The bottom ticker.
The bottom ticker.
Yes, we did speed up the scroll speed. We heard you. The fans have spoken. They said, hey, the scroll speed is a little slow.
Yes. So S. Wood, who actually is a Baltimore fan, but a friend of mine.
What are you doing here, S. Wood?
But he watches the stuff. He likes it. He's kind of an expert in his own right. He said the scroll speed's too slow, so we sped it up.
Hey, that's sweet.
Once again, fan show.
Talk, we listen.
Fan show.
And I will be bringing up Baltimore later in this show.
Gotta hope so, because I wish we were Baltimore.
It is. It's coming up.
All right.
For those of you that are listening to the podcast after the fact and are like, what the heck are they talking about? You can catch our live shows on YouTube. We do usually Monday nights. This week we decided to do Tuesday night.
That's my fault.
It's
100%,
okay.
100%.
It's okay. So you can check us out on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at Jaguars_United. Instagram, Jaguars_United_. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't found out by now, I am here with Joey tonight. Joey?
Yes.
How's it going?
It's going great. I'm super excited about our tonight.
There's just not a lot to talk about right now. There's just nothing going on in Jags news. There's just
There's so much to talk about.
So huge news coming out yesterday. Surprising. I mean, when was the last time the Jags have done something that really surprised you on this level? I mean, been a while,
extending Bortles' contract.
But did that really surprise you in the way that?
Well, it didn't surprise me because I wanted it to happen at that point because I'm an idiot. But
but I mean, did you really like? Does anything ever caught you off guard? The way the news of Fournette being
literally,
public?
I was driving to work, listening to Dan and Jeff, and Dan lost his mind.
No, I wish I would have heard it. I don't
lost his mind. He's interrupted the entire conversation they were having. It was like, oh my god, you know how he gets. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's part of their skit. But,
yeah.
And they said it, and he's like, they got the check marks on Twitter, it's legit, and I still didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
I was absolutely floored, not because of who it was and what they were doing, but the timing of it.
The timing of it is really the weirdest thing, and that's the factor that kind of throws me off the most about the news. And I haven't been this surprised. I mean, I got an alert on my phone. I mean, I was working, I think.
Well, you texted me 10 minutes later. It wasn't it was late.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was yeah.
No, I mean, for sure. I mean, we looked at it, and I was surprised. I was like, this is unbelievable. How could you get rid of someone who had so much production last year? And I got to be honest with you, my immediate thought reaction was the Jags are just tanking. This is a tank move. This is a move to just make sure that we get Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, just in case there's somebody listening that's not looked at social media or the news or anything locally, Leonard Fournette got straight up released. Not traded, just released out of the blue, early in the morning.
2 weeks before the season starts.
2 weeks before the season starts.
4 years into his deal. What?
Only getting paid 4.1.
It makes no sense. And I've heard every argument.
I went through the whole range of emotions. When I heard it, I was like, all right, this is their Twitter troll. Somebody hacked an account. And I was like, okay, this is legit. My second thought was, okay, he must have murdered somebody over the weekend and we didn't hear about it. That didn't come to fruition. Yeah. Then I was like, okay, there still has to be some kind of off-field stuff, or he's going to be picked up before the trade deadline or the free agency deadline. That didn't happen. None of that happened. It was just straight up, they released him.
It's Reese in the chat says, I'm in here on time finally.
Nice.
Thank you, Reese. He said automatic thumbs up. Yes, sir. I'm glad that you were on time. I'm glad that we were on time. Yeah. Last week we were 20 minutes late. This week we're a day.
A day late.
A day late.
Maybe Tuesday night's better for everybody.
We're glad that you guys are here with us on a Tuesday night. Reese, shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. Look, my first reaction was, and I texted Joey immediately and said
It was
he must have gotten arrested. Yeah. That was my first thought. I was like, he must have gotten arrested.
Because it made no sense.
I mean, the only rational thing I could come to my mind was something had to happen off the field. that is just because you don't cut someone 2 weeks before a season starts. It's courtesy to the player. You don't want your organization even known for doing stuff like that because then no one's going to want to come to your team.
Plus, he's taken all the first rep snaps up to this
Yeah.
point. Like, literally all of them. Like,
And you have no one behind him.
No, Armstead's like not even on the roster at this point. Thompson injury prone. I mean,
we'll get into some of the backups in a little bit.
Sure.
But let me just ask you straight up, Joey, and we'll get more into this. And if you're in the chat, shout out to the chat people. I want the chat to respond as well. But Joe, give me your answer. Was this move an effort to ensure the Jaguars are picking number 1 overall next year?
No. And I would love to say that because I've been saying they've been tanking for Trevor Lawrence at this point.
We're so used to saying tanking for Tua.
Yeah, it kind of
like
rolls off your tongue. But we're tanking for Trevor. So I've been saying that from day one, but they haven't like indicated that at all. It's almost like, hey, we've got this rejuvenated, like young group. Like, we're not doing that. We're relying on Minshew. We're gonna do our best, the best we can, and like go from there. But I think it does indicate that Marrone and DC are both gone after the end of the season. I have not said that once. I've said Marrone's gone. I said DC was going to stay with us. At this point, I think that shows they're both gone because that was one of their guys, and it's obvious that Khan met with them before the season started and said, you're both lame ducks this season. Make as big of a show of it as you can, but we're doing everything we can to get Trevor Lawrence.
It's such a weird situation. Like, I have never seen anything like it in sports before. I've never seen a GM keep his job so long, being so bad. I've never seen a head coach who's so disliked by former players that he still keeps his job. And I've never seen a situation where like the owner's trying to tank, but the front office isn't.
But this is exactly what it is.
And
because think about though, not to interrupt your thought, but think about it. Fournette's always been that guy that gets in the head of the other players as soon as they're not doing well, as soon as they start losing, as soon as like this upper management makes them do something that he doesn't like, he gets in their ear and does what?
He gets on them about it. Yeah.
No. What does he do? Like hide. Like they're sitting on the sideline, like joking about the fact they're not playing, like stuff like that.
Or he has to fight players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he's always he's just a weird dude, man. I think the fact that he's always been his entire life, is always his career, you're the guy. You can do whatever you want. You're the guy. You're elite. Like you're a specimen. All the way up until he got to the pros, and yeah, he's been okay. But you get to the pros, you're not that guy anymore. You have to have everything else that goes with it, and he hasn't. And I think that they've drafted quality players. They've drafted quality dudes off the field. And I think they're like, we're not going to win this year anyway. I want him gone because we don't want him getting in the ear of our young guys, and we're trying to change the culture of the Jags.
UCF Jaguar. Shout out UCF Jaguar.
UCF.
He's in the chat. How are Joey and me going to get here every week and talk about loss after loss after loss? Because all offseason I sat here and said, they're really not helping out Gardner Minshew. They drafted 2 defensive players with their first 2 picks in the first round. They drafted Laviska Shenault, who was all injured a lot of his college career. They added Tyler Eifert, who is probably just another tight end receiver that is going to come through here and get a payday and do nothing. They haven't really helped Minshew at all if they're really going to believe in Minshew and turn over the offense to him. Then they remove his best weapon from the team. And I know there's the argument he's better without Fournette, which I don't.
That's a crap argument.
I don't know if that's true because I don't think your offense can be. I mean,
the better argument, since you mentioned that, everybody's saying like 1,600 yards, 1,700 yards. It was all our offense last year from a yard standpoint. How many touchdowns? 3.
3 rushing
I'll
touchdowns.
answer my own question on that. How many times does he punch it in from 3 or 4 yards out?
0.
Never.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, he had 1,600 yards from scrimmage. Okay, great. I don't care about that. A guy like that needs to score freaking touchdowns.
Here's what blows my mind. And look, and I know people are tired of hearing about Trevor Lawrence, but like Jags fans might need to start wrapping their heads around the fact that this team might not be able to score points or stop anybody.
No,
because
before Fournette.
Exactly. But here's another thing that blows my mind. Joe Mixon got an extension today. Joe Mixon got a 4-year, like $50 million extension.
Yeah.
His numbers
are exactly
he's
the
the same age as Fournette. His attempts are like, he has like maybe 30 more attempts than Leonard Fournette. He has 300 more career yards than Leonard Fournette. That's it.
And a couple more touchdowns. It's like
A
it's
couple more
almost
touchdowns.
like non-existent.
Literally, their numbers are exactly the same, and Joe Mixon gets a $50 million extension, and Fournette gets cut.
You know the difference?
Mixon
beat
arrested in college?
all his women in college and not the pros.
It makes no sense to me.
He's not been a cancer at all since he's been on the team.
I mean, how can Cincinnati see the same production, the same player, the same type of back?
Because they have their franchise quarterback.
I think that might be the difference.
That is the absolute difference. And honestly, like you're talking about, like I've had like literally people texting me, "Are you done with the podcast? Are you done with the live stream?" Like I had like 3 of those texts today.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not, because now I don't have to pretend that we're going to be something this year, because I said we're like 3 and whatever since we started. Yeah. Now it's like, hey, what dumpster fire comes next? It's awesome. It's freeing. Like, what are we going to talk about next? What are the Jags going to like completely screw next? It's awesome.
Well, there came out some news. Who was it today that was talking about it on the radio about there was issues with Leonard Fournette in the locker room?
I don't know the guy's name, but he dropped the point that it was players that came to...
Players demanded that the Jags do something about Fournette.
Which is...
When you start to think about some of the things that he's done, I mean, he's always been the clown of the locker room, which Jags fans like. I mean, we all love it. Whenever Fournette... It was Mark Long. Long reported that the Jags players went to the coaches and said they don't want Fournette around anymore. He endorsed Cam Newton. He endorsed bringing in Cam Newton to the Jags. That might have ruffled some feathers with, I mean, Minshew alone. Imagine being Gardner Minshew and being like, really? You don't trust in me? I get that Cam and Leonard are probably friends, but that can't feel good to not get a vote of confidence from your all-purpose yards leader.
Yeah, but Minshew doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to say, hey, I've been hanging out with Fournette like off the field, like I've really been like spending like quality time with him one-on-one out of football, and I think he's an awesome dude and he's done everything that he can. Minshew, he just does not strike me as a guy who's going to blow smoke. So I don't think that Minshew was the guy. I definitely think that there are plenty of other players, anybody who's been there for the past couple of years, and maybe the running back group. It makes more sense that the players came to the coaches and said, we want this guy out. The coaches and the upper management were like, we don't like this guy either. We're not going to keep him next year. So why have him for a year when he could possibly taint the good players we have?
People in the chat are drawing a lot of comparisons to my Joe Mixon comment, saying that the Bengals aren't any good either, and that we shouldn't be comparing them to the Bengals because the Bengals suck.
The Bengals are better than we are.
Keep in mind, the Bengals just drafted their franchise quarterback, number 1 overall, and they just hired a young West Coast offense head coach to run the team. They are probably where the Jaguars are going to be finding themselves next year, if we're being realistic.
The Bengals are a year ahead of us at this
That's
point.
what I'm saying. The Bengals are a year ahead of us. They locked up their running back. I mean, it's not really about like if they're making good decisions or not. It's like, how can 2 organizations look at the exact same player? I mean, they're the same age. They're the same back.
Whoa. I'll stop you there. Not 2 organizations, 32 organizations. Because you know what? Leonard Fournette does not have a job right now.
That's true. I mean, he didn't get picked up on waivers.
He's only getting paid $4 million this year. But all it would have taken somebody to pick him up today.
But is that more of a we don't want Fournette, or it's like we're 2 weeks before the season, like we have our game plans in place already?
Are you telling me that there's 32 running backs better than Fournette? He was the 6th best running back last year.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. I mean, I always bring up PFF, and people get on me when I don't bring it up in arguments that hurt me. But I mean, he didn't grade out great in PFF, even though he did have a bunch of yards.
Okay, I'm 20th best. That means there's 12 teams out there that could have picked him up for $4 million. That's nothing in the NFL.
Yeah,
that shows how much we value our hypotheses, like, or quotation mark, best players, and how the league views our best players.
We'll see. I mean, I guess there's more than a way to skin a cat, I guess that's my grandma would say.
I don't know.
Shay J says, Gruden runs a committee of running backs, and Leonard probably had some words for the coaches when they told him that he would be splitting carries and getting 5 to 6 touches in a contract a year.
Exactly. You sit him on the bench, he's going to be talking shit about the entire team and the coaches and everything every single chance he gets.
That's true. And I wanted to look, and I've done a lot of research on our man Jay Gruden here, and he used Adrian Peterson one year pretty well, and I think Adrian Peterson and Fournette have some similarities because this was Adrian Peterson toward the end of his career, obviously. But when I went back and looked at Jay Gruden's best statistical season as an offensive coordinator and a head coach, it was actually with the Bengals in 2013. And he did have a committee running back. And let me throw you some numbers at him of who he had. And keep in mind, he was the offensive coordinator on a Bengals team that went 11-5, and their offense ranked 6th in the league in points and 10th in yards.
And they made the playoffs.
Made the playoffs, lost in the first round like they always do.
Well, hey.
They got there.
Made the playoffs.
Here are their running backs with 220 attempts on the season, which is significantly less than Fournette had last year.
Sure.
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis had 756 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Of course he did. That was going to be my guess.
The committee back.
Okay, hold on a second. Has anybody ever heard of that guy?
Yeah, I mean, if you played fantasy in 2013, you were basically handcuffed by these two guys.
Okay.
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. He played with the Patriots for a little bit. I think he might even have a Super Bowl ring, to be honest. The committee running back, Giovanni Bernard, 170 attempts, and he had 695 yards. So combined, they had about what Fournette had this year. They had significantly more touchdowns than Fournette had this year, and they had probably 100 less attempts than Fournette had last year.
So it worked.
Andy Dalton also did add 183 yards, but I don't think it would be far-fetched to think that Minshew could add 183 yards
on the ground. Absolutely. Yeah. That'd be like bottom number.
So we have seen Jay Gruden be successful with this committee type receiving third down, short yardage back. Did they really think that he was going to be that big of an issue in the locker room, not getting the bulk of the workload? Were they really like trying to get out in front of his behavior problems?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Dude, he sat one game and him and Carlos Hyde are on like playing like.
Yeah, but that was that was 2 years ago. The Fournette we saw last year, it was different.
Because he got every touch for the team.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? How many touchdowns average total, or not average, total. Let's see this. In the last 3 years for the Jags, what's Fournette's average touchdown total?
Last year was 3.
I'll give you an over-under. Is it over 18 or under 18? 3 years.
Is this including 2017?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. 18. That sounds about right. You probably put that the over-under because it's close.
So it's what, 6 per year?
Yeah, but factor in last year, which is horrid, where he didn't have any touchdowns. Touchdowns aren't really the biggest indicator for me.
It is when you're a bulldozing back.
Yeah, maybe.
So he was drafted as, right?
The offensive line was so bad. Do you really blame Fournette? He had one of the highest yards after contact.
How many touchdowns did Barry Sanders had behind? Come on.
Barry Sanders is a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a first-round draft pick. You still didn't answer the question.
I'm going to say under.
It's definitely under. It was 17.
17, yeah. I believe it.
And 9 of those came in 17.
The teams have been bad. The offenses have been bad. He had Bortles for 2 of those years.
So, we shouldn't be that mad about the fact that he's not on the team is my whole point.
I'm not mad. I'm just confused. Because,
I think it makes things clear. It gives us clarity on what's going on.
I was already harping on the point that I didn't think they did enough to help Minshew. If they really wanted to give Minshew a fair shot at being a quarterback in the NFL, give him a solid receiving core. Give him a solid offensive line. Well, heaven forbid draft someone with one of your first-round picks to help him.
Outside of tight end, I think they have kind of done that. I think they are putting it on Minshew's shoulders. They believe in the offensive line. They've got a healthy Cam.
Do you believe in the offensive line?
I don't.
Exactly.
But point being,
do you believe in this receiving core? Probably not.
I think our receiving core is above average. It's not elite, but it's above average.
Do you believe in Chris Thompson and Ozigbo and
No,
Armstead?
I don't. But they brought in
That's what I'm saying.
A fullback. I think their whole thing is they're going to go shotgun, let Minshew be Minshew, sling the ball around and see what the heck happens, man. Because they had no other option because their team sucks. So they're doing the best they can.
We'll draft somebody or sign
but
somebody.
They're not going to do that, man.
Make moves. If your team sucks, get better. Don't tank, which I think they're doing. I think they're tanking.
I know now you agree with me from 4 weeks ago? Okay.
The Fournette thing made me realize it. Okay, they're tanking. I'm sorry,
they've been doing that from the get-go,
They're tanking. Yeah. They really have. And I wanted to convince myself that they weren't. And you can try to say that they're not. And I know Jags fans are tired of hearing this, and it's going to be a long year. But they're tanking.
it's a true tank.
Yeah, it's
and
a true
nobody
tank.
will mind
Yeah.
Fournette being gone 3 years from now when we're deep in the playoffs and
Dabo Swinney's the head coach.
and Trevor Lawrence is the MVP.
Honestly, in retrospect, we can look back at this moment and be like, I'm glad we went through that.
Hey, mark that down, like write that in chalk somewhere in case we need to erase it, but we said it.
I am extremely backed up on YouTube comments. I apologize.
I will stop talking. That's my fault. Because
sorry.
This is the most excited I've ever been about a live stream or podcast. I'm
news.
free.
Yeah.
Like, the season's going to suck. We're going to suck. Whatever happens. I can just like comment on the dumpster fire. And the higher the fire gets, the better it gets.
Yeah, and we'll be here the whole time. We're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So it's all good.
So let's listen to our fans.
All right, I'm just going to do some rapid fire comments here just to try to catch up. My Chevy Truck 1998Z1 says Bengals have more talent. We all can't admit it. You know, my Chevy Truck, I think you're right. I really do.
No, they're absolutely
Joe
better than
Burrow
us.
is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And
they're way better than us. Like, check that box.
Joe Burrow's a beast.
Good
Joe
comment.
Burrow is if you watched him at all at LSU, he was making plays that you're just like, okay, that's going to translate to the next level. Mindset says, just when you thought having Bortles was the worst thing about our team, 2 years later.
I think we should bring Bortles back. Just like dial it all in. Like, bring it all full circle.
I mean, if you're trying to tank, you might as well.
I mean, if you want the Flames to get high, that's how you do it.
Doorman says Bengals receiving core is better. Nick F says, but not limiting us to Fournette could be better for the offense since we don't have to give him X amount of touches to make him happy. The offense overall could be more freed up.
It could.
I
think it leads to next season way better. I agree.
I did some market research on the run game in the NFL. You ready for this, Joey?
I am, because I think the run game's kind of meaningless at this point.
So the average amount of rush attempts in the NFL, so you take all the teams, the amount of times they ran the ball, you average them into the median average number, you get 418 attempts per season. Okay.
Per season?
Per season, 418 attempts. That's the average.
Per team?
So each team, like the Jags were at 389, but the Baltimore Ravens, who obviously they had Lamar Jackson who ran the ball. So
does that include quarterback?
Includes quarterbacks.
Runs?
It includes all that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were at like 580. Okay. And they were number one because they obviously.
So what was the average?
The average is 418.
It seems high to me, is why I said that. But okay.
Jags were at 389, which is under. But they were playing from behind. They had to throw the ball a lot. So when you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
Fair enough.
Right?
What are the Kansas City Chiefs at?
The Kansas City Chiefs, I don't have them specifically. I can look them up here.
Sorry to run this.
I have the 7 out of the top 10 teams offensively had more than the average rush attempts per game. So that tells you 7 out of the 10 best offensive teams ran the ball more than the average.
But if you're including quarterbacks, man, that's because the quarterback position has changed.
But the only team that really factored in was Lamar Jackson, maybe
Seattle?
Patrick Mahomes. Maybe I don't know if Seattle even had a top 10 offense last year, to be honest.
Okay.
But I honestly, I lost this. I closed out of the page already. But it was interesting. It was that good teams run the ball. That's what it came to. It's good teams. Now, is that a factor of you were up and ahead in the game, and so you had to run out the clock in the end of the game? Yes, probably, but you still have to have a good enough back to seal the game. Do the Jags have a good enough back to seal a game? If they get up 7 on the Colts and they just have to run the clock out, do they have the offensive line and do they have the running back to be able to run out the clock?
No.
Absolutely not.
And that's not their goal.
Their goal is to tank. But what if you do find yourself winning a game and
they're going to lose it in the end somehow? Penalties, coaching decision,
I don't know.
Injury. We haven't tackled yet. Literally, we're playing games in 2 weeks. Our star running back, who's taken all the snaps, gone. So Chris Thompson's going to take those? Gaku, what's that guy's name?
Ozebo.
He's at like 26 carries ever. He's got no first team snaps. And we're not tackling. Dude, we're going into the first game of the season basically like preseason.
Throwing 70 times, you think?
Yeah. Minshew better be the best quarterback in the past 50. He better be Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think the issue is Minshew.
He's going to be running for his life.
I think the issue is the offensive line and the receivers.
It's not
Receivers couldn't get open last year. Oh, now they're going to get open. We added Laviska Shenault, so now we're good.
Beast.
We added Tyler Eifert.
Shark. Beast.
Tyler Eifert isn't exactly a guy that gets open. Okay, he catches the ball over you in the red zone.
And he gets hurt.
Yeah. The issue, the receivers couldn't get open. If you watch any of the Jags games from the All-22 film, you look at the receivers, they're blanketed.
You're still talking about them being good.
I know.
Like having a shot.
I can't. I just can't. Devin Ezigbo, he's 23. He's from Nebraska, 6'2", 225, good size. We've never seen him. James Robinson, he's a rookie, Illinois State.
Robinson, that guy got a bunch of like chatter out of camp.
He's 5'9", 219.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, unless you're Maurice Jones-Drew. Chris Thompson.
They compared him to Maurice Jones, but not as skilled.
Chris Thompson, 5'8", 195. He's a receiving back, though. I mean, we all kind of know what he's going to be.
Dude, he's going to be our guy. He's going to have the most, like, whatever from the backfield.
Raquel Armstead, 5'11", 220.
He's not even on the roster right now.
I mean, he's on the official roster.
He's hurt, COVID, something.
He's been hurt his entire career.
I know.
How a person has... Raquel Armstead should write a book on how to make it in the league without ever
he's
showing
literally
anything.
Our number one back right now, and he's not on the active roster.
I think Chris Thompson's going to be the number one back.
But he's not a back.
32-year-old Chris
It's
Thompson.
going to be Jordan Thompson.
Yeah. My Chevy truck says we have a better kicker than the Bengals. That's true.
Man.
That's
just
true.
like Scobie, man. We've nailed the kicker for 10 years.
Kicker, punter, don't mess with the Jags.
Cannot mess
Don't
with
mess
them.
with us.
That's why I'm buying a
Lambeau jersey.
Lambeau jersey.
Mindset says we have better colors than the Bengals. I'd agree with that. I think our colors are the sweetest combination of colors that exist. But I'm a homer, I must say.
Our teal?
I love teal. I love the combination of teal, black, gold.
I like the white
love
and the
that.
black, but in the gold, but the teal.
Yeah. Devontae Freeman has gotten some love on our chat with the Jags wanting to go after him.
That's the
Look,
old
dude,
Atlanta
I'm
running
all
back.
for Devontae Freeman.
Dude, I drafted him in fantasy
I
like
love
2 years
Devontae
ago, and he
Freeman,
crushed my team.
I love Devontae
I think
Freeman.
he's done. Was he 32? I'll look that up while you talk.
Wasn't he and you're not a Florida State fan, so you're not going to know this, but I believe he was at college with James Wilder Jr.
I don't care about that. Dude, he was legit
Was
on
that the same-
Atlanta
was that the
for
same time
multiple
frame?
years.
Was Devontae Freeman and James Wilder Jr. in FSU the same time? I could be off there, but I tend to remember something like that. Maybe I'm off. I could be wrong. It's resaid. Yep, signed a 1-year deal. They're saying $8 million. Nate says put Visca at running back. I think you'll see some of that.
Yeah.
Again, if you're looking at I'm trying to go off this 2013 Cincinnati Bengals stat line because that kind of seems like what Jay Gruden is probably going to try to recreate as his most successful season ever. Doesn't that make sense?
Well,
And looking at the
if you
guys,
got the Jimmy and Joe's, yeah.
looking at the guys he used that were like Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones. That seems like a guy that's kind of comparable. Mohamed Sanu, guys that didn't get a bunch of yards, but they definitely play.
So what you're saying is that team was loaded because you've named like 2 really good players.
And not to mention AJ Green's on that team.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jermaine Gresham was on that team. Tyler Eifert, ironically, was on that
in
team.
his prime before he got hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
So 2013, they had a way better team than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I would say Marvin Jones or Mohamed Sanu could be. I know they got.
Shark could be Sanu. I could see that.
Hopefully, Shark's AJ Green. That's the hope. But yeah, Sanu might be more realistic. Actually, now that you bring that up, which is kind of sad.
Sanu had 3 or 4 good years though.
I don't want to get on DJ Chark right now, but I have a little bit of hesitation about him. He did not end the season strong.
No, he started
And
getting
I
double teamed,
didn't-
and he
I didn't
got
like
shut
that.
down.
But good receivers get open. That's ask Jerry
And double
Rice.
teams?
Good receivers get open. You don't think Jerry Rice and Randy Moss ever got double teamed?
It's a different game, bud.
Maybe. Let's see here. Let's be honest. Mindset says we knew they were tanking when they traded Calais Campbell. Honestly, if they are tanking, you could probably draw a line to that moment.
Yeah, that could be the starting point. At
Yeah.
the time, I didn't think so because dude's older, a lot of money.
Yeah.
He
Kev-
was on a snap count, but okay.
Kev Click says Dave and Doug will tank and will still somehow keep their job. Again, these people should write books how to keep your job
DC
when
should
you
for sure.
suck at it.
Again, I've been the guy that said that Maroon's gone, lame duck coach. DC's going to be here next year. Based on Fournette getting just released, I think the conversation was completely different at the beginning of the season. I think it was, hey, DC, Maroon, I'm going to pay you guys for 1 more year. You're both gone at the end of the season.
What besides a paycheck, what's the benefit of them staying and being in that situation? There is none.
Why not? You're gonna after last season, you're gonna really find good employment.
Maybe. So
why not take another multi-million-dollar check and figure it out from there?
Maybe there's just an agreement in the room. We're all just here as lame duck positions, and
I mean, you can't bring in like Gruden and all those guys this season. They're not going to agree to that.
I mean, you brought in Gruden, you brought in McAdoo. You could have hired either one of those guys.
And that's what I'm saying. But you hire them as like secondary coaches, so they don't take the fall for this year. You give them all the picks next year, plus what we had this year, and I'd sign up for that.
The drafting 2 defensive players in the first round this year really made me raise my eyebrows.
That might have been the start before Campbell.
That was where I was like, wait a second. You're telling me
we're not trying to win.
You're telling me you're going to let Minshew have a real shot at this job, and you're not going to draft a single player in the first round to give him help. Yeah. And then you draft Laviska Shenault, and then your second round pick was, I think, a defensive player too.
Yeah, you didn't go offensive line. You didn't go wide receiver. You didn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nick F19 says, also, it's bad if we tank. Like, we could look back to 2017. Draft Bortles played well, and so many Minshew. But let's be honest, we'd rather have Watson or Mahomes. Lawrence and Fields have more talent.
Yeah, they dropped the ball. Like, we've talked about that multiple times. And I think everybody's thrown it out at this point. But there's the whole, like, chart from 2017. How many players are on, like, an active roster? 52?
53, yeah.
Okay, so there's 12 players left from 2017. And half of those are, like, solid multiplayer guys.
Yeah.
Not stars.
Why Pippo Hefe says boring. If he's referring to us, then I've been called worse names. I could take boring.
I'll take boring
in stride, but he could not be talking about us.
Like, boring's not awful.
I just scrolled down in the chat, so I could be catching it. But if we're boring, I'm sorry.
If the Jags
blame Joey.
It's
Joey's fault.
100%.
If this was a Monday night recording, this thing would be lit. But we're sitting here on Tuesday. I don't know how to act.
I'm half asleep. But boring for the Jags, yeah, it's going to be boring, except for the fact that we keep making awesome decisions, like cutting Fournette. Like, I can't wait for the next, like the dumpster fire, like, started. We'll say Calais Campbell. Dumpster fire, like, just above the line of, like, the metal. And then it, like, just keeps ratcheting up with every decision we make. So it's like, what's next?
What would be the least...
Like, trade Minshew.
Yeah.
Is Johnny Utah available?
I'm trying to think, like, what would come out that would be like... Here's something that realistically that I could see happening. Them coming out and saying, like, Will Richardson won the left tackle job. And you just being like, okay, I bet he did. Right, I'm sure he did, right? And it's just like it comes out that something like that happened. So,
I mean, honestly, who knows?
BOE and UNK show says this morning on Get Up, which I think is the NFL Network show, says they said Dabo Swinney to the Jags makes sense. There is definitely some momentum. Joey, would you be upset if you woke up in 2021, Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback, Dabo Swinney's the head coach, you draft maybe another offensive lineman or a receiver in next year's draft with your second first-round pick to help him? Is that scenario worth what we're going through right now?
Absolutely. And, everybody's talking about that. Dabo, Trevor Lawrence, going to sit together. What I love is the fact that Dabo said, hey, if they start paying college players, I'm out. I'm not coaching anymore. You know what? Hey, your advantage is gone at that point, right? Like the bag drops, can't pay players. So, I mean, that's hilarious to say that to start with. But Dabo's awesome. If he came, I mean, who knows? I think if you look at all the college coaches that came to the NFL, it's probably about 50-50. And there's been plenty of, like, stud, like Nick Saban, for example.
Yeah.
Horrible at Miami. Steve Spurrier.
He was okay. He was okay.
Dude, but he wasn't like he was at Florida.
Right.
So, I mean, like, he went back to college for a reason.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I'd be good with that, man. I mean, it's a Jack. We'd be talked about for something positive finally instead of what's going on right now.
I would be ecstatic if Dabo Swinney was our coach. And I think Jags fans are kind of pushing that narrative, kind of trying to speak it into existence
I'll second that by saying there's no way in hell that's happening. Like, no way.
Here's also a kind of, when I started thinking about this, if you're Dabo Swinney's agent and you're basically, I mean, Dabo Swinney makes more than Nick Saban. He makes $9 million a year. Saban makes $8 million a year. So Sweeney's like surpassed him that. But He's not making I think Jimbo Fisher still makes more money than him. If you're Dabo Sweeney's agent, doesn't it help you to perpetuate a rumor that he's interested in making a jump to the NFL?
Of course. It's like a bargaining chip.
Something to think about. Just something to think about. Agents are tricky. And agents know how to work the rumor mill, and agents know how to work social media more than you think. Okay, so just keep that in mind. As far as when we started tanking,
I'll add to that. I'm sorry, because I had to look it up real quick because I had no idea. Doug Marrone makes $3 million a year.
Yeah, I could have guessed about that. Yeah. Well, when referring to tanking, Mindset says, when they hired Shoelace as a coach, dude drove his car into a pond, and you hire him 3 years later.
Shoelace.
Denard Robinson. And that's not
he did that.
Let's not omit the fact that this pond.
What does he coach?
He's an assistant coach.
It was not a lake. No, it was like a retention pond.
A retention pond
and
on Atlantic.
He taking some medication, man. Doctor said take this. He tried to get home and he ended up in a pond asleep. Yeah. Would you expect any less? It's just a black man need a job.
It's reset. Our team would still be together if we had Watson or Mahomes. Well, yeah, we'd still have Ramsey. That's what he's saying. We'd still have Ramsey, Fournette, Ngakoue, all these guys. UCF Jaguar says, I heard Joey also missed his rehab treatment yesterday.
I did. It was rough, man. I woke up in a ditch this morning and text Jason and said, hey, can we do it tonight? And he was like, yeah.
Had 5 missed calls from Denard Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking for
Denard was like, where's my car?
Sauce.
For sure, UCF, man. Really?
Christian Latier says, nah, because we have to pay Mahomes that money. That's true. We got
$50 million under the cap right now.
We'd be like, oh, we drafted a quarterback that's better than Mahomes. We're going to let him walk and trade him, and then we're going to...
Possible.
My Chevy truck says a Norwell cut or trade wouldn't surprise me. I can't see a team trading for Norwell.
No.
Because he was bad.
Bad.
A cut, though. Maybe that's what I should have said. That actually makes more sense. If you woke up tomorrow and you were like, Will Richardson is now the starting left guard, Norwell's been cut. You'd be like, okay, I believe that. That would be a nice little chill move to get rid of some cap space.
That's probably happening tomorrow.
That's probably what's happening next. That's a good call there.
I agree.
Chevy truck. Nick F says, you guys think we should trade a wide receiver? I say we try and trade Dede for some D-line depth.
I love Dede, but he hasn't proven it. He's been injured. But yeah, I'd be down for that.
I don't think anyone's trading for anyone that we have. Dede Westbrook's the only guy that's tradable, right? Because you're not trading Chark. I don't think there's any interest in anyone else.
We just let Fournette go.
Fournette was released.
So you don't think that
we sat here and talked about who we thought the Jags would trade if they were like 0-5. Remember last week? Last week we said if the Jags start 0-5, who's getting traded first? The two names that were brought up were Fournette and Dede in that order because we thought that Fournette had a little more valuable than Dede.
For sure.
And now we see that Fournette's cut. And when you start to really think about it, Dede Westbrook was kind of old when he came into the NFL. Is he really going to demand a trade?
He hasn't put up numbers that
I don't think so.
would want to buy.
I think there's guys on free agency lists that will give you what Dede could give you.
Yeah, you get a vet for the same price and better numbers. Probably.
Is there anyone on this offense that's not on their rookie contract that is even tradable? I mean, no one wants Conley. Nobody wants. We're not going to trade Linder.
Linder would be the only guy.
Linder honestly would be the only guy.
Yeah.
Could you see that being like a Scobie situation where halfway through the year they trade him to a contender and he's still a Jaguar lifer, but he is going to try to help a team for a year or two?
Nobody wants anybody on the Jags, man. I mean, nobody would give Fournette a fifth, a sixth.
We couldn't trade Fournette.
Can we get a bag of footballs for Leonard Fournette? No. Let's just cut him. I mean, seriously. Nobody wants anybody on offense. Nobody.
Yeah. I'm sorry on the YouTube chat. But we appreciate y'all being here. I'm super backed up on it.
I think it's time for a break. Maybe we can catch
up.
All
right. Joey wants to take a break. So that sounds like a great time for a break.
We'll take the best questions that we've missed.
We're not going to.
Because Jason is sucking tonight.
I am. I'm so sorry. Honestly, you guys are real active in the chat, and that's one of the best things that's happened. I'm super excited. This is a great week. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get a quick little restroom break. We're going to use the bathroom and get a refill. 2 minutes. We'll be gone.
A minute and a half.
Minute and a half. Hang tight. We appreciate you guys being here. We will be right back in like 2 seconds. Thank you guys so much for being here. See you in a second. All right, and welcome back to a Jaguars United live show. If you are joining us through the Big Cat Country feed, because if you're reading Big Cat Country articles and you scroll to the bottom, they have their podcasts, and a lot of times that's where we get a lot of people that listen to our shows is on there. You've got to check out our live shows on YouTube.
That's where it's at.
Joey and me chilling in the studio. We got Maurice Jones-Drew hanging in the background. Matt Jones, which I'm obligated for another, what month are we? September. For another 3 or 4 months has to be up in the wall.
At least.
And then JJ Redick, who probably will forever stay on the wall because he was an inspiration in my life.
I'll pause you there. Would you mind Matt Jones in our wide receiver core right now? In his legit year.
So I'm trying to think. What was his? Was it?
Did he had like 1,100 yards?
Was it
and
09?
6 touchdowns?
Yeah, I'm 09.
I don't know the year.
No, it wasn't 1,100.
No, it was. Right.
No, it was like.
Jason, carry on with our sponsors. I'm looking up Matt Jones.
All right.
Stats.
Anyways,
right now.
Check out the live show. It's better. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We usually do Monday nights. Sometimes it's Tuesday nights, but we're there a lot, and we would love if you guys subscribe to that channel. You can also check us out on Twitter. We do a lot of stuff there, and Instagram. But thank you guys so much. We have a poppin' live chat tonight. I'm going to try to get to everything. Shout out to UCF Jaguar, who is one of our boys. We've done a lot of collab stuff together. He's killing it in the Jaguars YouTube arena. So shout out to him for being here. He said his show's over. That must have been a really short show.
He always does this before us, so it works out well. Right?
Yeah, it usually does work out with UCF. I mean, I'm always watching UCF stuff in my truck, and my girlfriend's in my truck with me. Like, I have my AirPods in. I'm literally watching the UCF Jaguar in my truck as I'm driving. She's like, "Should you really be doing this?"
Yeah.
And I always turn
Not
to her.
safe.
I always turn to her and say the same thing. I say, "Have I ever crashed the car with you yet?"
It has not happened
Has
yet.
it happened yet?
Exactly.
So shout out to you, UCF Jaguar. I appreciate you being here. Literally, we're talking all Leonard Fournette, Trevor Lawrence, Dabo Sweeney. And Ngakwe's even old news now. How happy are you that Ngakwe's old news? He's old news.
Oh, wow.
Get out of here. Super excited. One thing we haven't gotten to yet, and I've seen it in the chat a couple times, and I think now would be a good time to get into it. The Saints, Josina Anderson was the person who broke the news, which is weird in its own because usually things like this don't get broke by Josina Anderson, that Alvin Kamara is being shopped and the Saints want to trade Alvin Kamara. Is there any thing in you that thinks the Jags make a move at Alvin Kamara?
I mean, catches the ball in the backfield, right?
Yeah, but isn't that what everyone does on our team? I mean, it's Chris Thompson's his job.
Yeah, but he's been hurt every year.
Kamara's obviously
a substantial upgrade.
You know what's funny about Alvin Kamara? I used to follow high school recruiting like super closely. It was weird. I don't know why. But Alvin Kamara was really, really highly ranked coming out of high school.
He was a beast.
I mean, when he was committed to Alabama, I believe, and then decommitted because I think Derrick Henry was there at the same time. My timelines are sometimes off. Maybe it was the guy before Derrick Henry, Ingram.
Sometimes?
A lot of times. College was rough to me. And Alvin Kamara was a beast coming out. Leonard Fournette was literally the number one player in the country, but I think Alvin Kamara was a top 10 player.
Absolutely. And they both are looking for jobs.
Yeah.
I should tell you, the thought on running backs.
Well, Kev Click says they want a first-round pick for Kamara. He says not worth it.
Yeah, I would agree.
But
I mean, the thought... okay, he's proven himself, so that gives him a little more cred. Maybe a bottom-tier top pick in the first round. But, I mean, the rule of thumb is you don't draft a running back in the first round. You get that for value in the late second, third, fourth round.
I guess I don't look at Alvin Kamara as a running back. I look at Leonard Fournette as a running back.
True.
I look at Joe Mixon as a running back.
Kamara's
Alvin Kamara is like a hybrid Christian McCaffrey type player. Is he as good as Christian McCaffrey?
No.
Probably not.
Probably
not. But is he?
Probably.
Is he close?
No.
Yes.
He's not. No.
797 rushing yards last year for Kamara, and 533 receiving yards out of Kamara, and that's over only 14 games.
Yards. How many TDs? That's what I'm looking for.
5 touchdowns rushing, 1 touchdown in the air.
So 6. All right.
And that's on a Saints team that scores points. It's not like he's carrying the weight of a team like McCaffrey or Fournette.
Okay, well, let's go get McCaffrey and see what he did.
I mean, he went 8. He went 8 this year. I mean, it's not even close. Kamara definitely wasn't utilized. I mean, he had a down year last year. There's no getting around that. He definitely had a down year. So no interest in you for the Jags. What about? I mean, the chat seems to want him if you can get him at a good deal. Nick F says Kamara is 10 times better than Fournette.
I agree, 1,000%. Whoever's missing the point.
Christian McCaffrey money is $16 million. Kamara is worth like 14 to 15. Says Moon Illusions.
Dude, we didn't want to pay Fournette 4. Dude, you guys are missing the point. Everybody, okay, all right. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right now and just realign everybody's point of view. This year is a dumpster fire. Google it. Look up a dumpster that is on fire. That's what's happening. Enjoy it. Just wait for the next crazy thing that happens. Just enjoy it.
We were talking on the break about this. Our break conversations are always good.
It is good. It's freeing. Yeah. It's like the weight's off the shoulder as a Jags fan right now.
Yeah. Because, if we have professional jobs, so if we slip up here, there's potential that, we could get fired, as harsh as that sounds.
True.
If we mess up bad enough.
If the right people are watching.
And we say the wrong thing.
Agreed.
In our personal conversations, there's no risk of that.
No.
We were talking about if you're tanking for the best player, a generational talent, if you're going to, and I know people hate saying tank, just hang with me here. I know it. If you're tanking and you're trying to get the best generational player coming out of the draft, like Trevor Lawrence, and there's a pipe dream chance you can get a coach like Dabo Swinney, wouldn't this year, when your fans are at 25% capacity and there's not a lot of momentum and support around the game,
and maybe the season finishes, maybe it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't.
Who knows?
Isn't that the best year to do this?
Heck yeah,
it is. So maybe they're playing the probability game. Maybe they're playing the long-term game. I mean, you're looking at your portfolio long-term. If you're the Cons and you're looking at a 20-year portfolio, you knock 1 year out to get Trevor Lawrence and Dabo Swinney.
They don't make bad business decisions.
They didn't get to where they're at from making bad decisions. And I know people don't want to hear this, and this is going to make us unpopular with fans because I myself, before this week, hated the word tanking. I didn't want to hear it one time. I was so sick of hearing the word tanking. But then when they released Fournette 2 weeks before the season, I was just like, okay.
So let's change that. It's not tanking. It's tank top season.
Tank top season? You think we should wear tank tops?
I think it should be tank top.
I have been hitting the back and buys a little heavier the last couple weeks.
It's guaranteed. Tank top. It's not tanking. We're tank topping.
Tank top season. I like it.
Who can get mad about that?
Yep. Doorman says we are talking about 2021 already. Yes, we are. YDoc 5000 says perfect timing. YDoc gets it. He gets it. This is it. This is the year.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Sean Davis says they called the Washington Sentinels a dumpster fire too, but they made the playoffs. Minshew is the next Shane Falco.
So I like the Falco reference. I said Johnny Utah earlier. That's the two quarterbacks we could pick up.
Who doesn't like Keanu Reeves?
I mean, he's been the best two fake quarterbacks of all time.
And the best Matrix Neo guy.
Agreed. But that does bring up an interesting point as far as that would be the Jags jagging. We do all this. We win just enough games not to get the guy, and we have to trade all of our draft picks to get Lawrence, and then he blows out his shoulder in
don't even say
preseason.
That. Don't even say that.
Right.
I'm not going to even put that in the
He's going to edit that out of actual podcast.
My Chevy truck says and Louis Riddick as the GM. I prefer JJ Riddick to Louis Riddick, but that's just me. Moon Illusion says Dolphins failed at tanking but still won the prize. The Colts didn't lose at tanking, though. They successfully tanked for Andrew Luck.
And still lost.
Not with Andrew Luck, they didn't.
Well, I mean, they lost him because he decided to retire.
Right.
Millennials.
Predator says, I feel like Minshew won't let them be able to draft Trevor. If he does, well, sadly, it wasn't meant to be.
How can Minshew decide that?
I'm with Predator here, and this is kind of what I've been saying. I don't think Minshew loses. I don't think they get Lawrence. They're going to have to trade into that pick. Minshew's going to win you 5 games, and that's not going to be good enough.
Minshew's going to get hurt by the third game of the season.
No.
You don't think so?
Bro, I saw the dude take a crown of the helmet to the chin in preseason when a hit that would normally... I think it was Baltimore. It's the second Baltimore reference.
Okay.
A crown of the helmet to the chin, and I saw that dude get up and lead his team to a phenomenal season in all his starts. I mean...
Hey, we'll go through
relatively speaking.
We'll go game by game.
You can't do that. That doesn't work because you never know who's going to be hurt. We played the Titans twice in preseason, and we looked at those 2 games. We would have been like, "Oh, this is a win here." You can't speculate that the first time we play the Titans, we're going to be playing against Mariota, who can't throw, and the second time we play against the Titans is going to be against Tannehill, who's setting the world on fire, and Derrick Henry stiff arming AJ Boye into the ground.
But we can guess that we don't have a legit starting professional football team. Every single game.
They are legit.
We're going to be underdogs every game. There's nobody we play that we're going to be favored in. We were before the preseason, and we've lost players since then.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. Charlie Boy says, I bought one of the shirts on your site. Can't wait for it. Charlie!
Which one?
Shout out to you. We do have tank tops on.
Hopefully it was the tank top.
Okay, I'll be straight up with you about the shirts, and I'm being completely transparent with you.
I'm
wearing one of them. The shirts are really good prices. You can set your price on this specific website. I set it literally to where the profit margin was Zero. So like
Nothing.
we make no money on the shirts because I wanted people to be able to get them at
But it
affordable
takes 6
price.
months to get one.
It does take like 3 weeks for them to ship you for you to get the shirt. I don't know why, and it almost turns me off from wanting to use them, even though they're a cheaper service. Like, why does it take so long to get a shirt?
But if you wear a schmedium and you want Jason's, it's $40.
Look, I'm just saying. I told you I've been hitting back and buy a
Hey,
little harder.
I'm not wearing a shirt for a reason. That's us.
Well, shout out to you, Charlie boy. That's what's up.
But thank you for ordering a shirt.
Yeah. Nick, let's see here. Christian Paraguayan, like the Paraguayan Falcon, perhaps. He says
Just got deep.
they're going to have to trade up for Trevor, I bet. Yeah.
It's possible.
Right. And a good thing we have a bunch of picks.
Lots of picks.
Yeah. Denny Aries says, Jason, you have said all along 2021 genius. I throw a lot of darts against the wall. Hopefully this is the one that hits the bullseye. But I think 2021 is our window. Because, I mean, yeah. Charlie Boy says, buy their shirts. I will buy the ones off of y'all's back when it's on sale. Thank you. You can buy these on the website, actually. They're like
Hey,
$15.
I got this from Marshall's for like $11. I'll sell it to you for $11.
Plus shipping. Nick F says, Minshew may be too good to tank, but then again, with our defense, could be very bad. Also, even if we don't get the number 1, we could still get Fields at 3, possibly.
And I'd cry. Not about Minshew, but about Fields. I mean, I don't want Fields. I want Lawrence.
There's potential Fields doesn't play a game until the next year's draft.
Exactly.
Which
and
is interesting.
That's a problem.
Because think about a guy like Justin Herbert. I mean, if playing an extra year in college cost him a lot of money. I mean, that happens to a lot of players, not just Justin Herbert. He's just the most recent. Who knows what could happen to Fields' draft stock if he'd played another year?
But I will say, there's no way Minshew is tanking. Minshew is going to go out there and ball out,
I don't
play, bleed. Like, he's going to give everything he has.
I don't think anyone would ever question that.
No.
Christian Ladier says, I think we should draft Chase and make a wide receiver core with Chark, Chase, and Chenault. Jamar Chase, who honestly, most famously for me, had a ball broken up by C.J. Henderson in the LSU game. That was a really good play by C.J. Henderson. Burrow threw a jump ball to Chase. Great ball. It was one of C.J. Henderson's better man defensive highlights. But yeah, good player for sure. People are saying that he could not play. They were talking on the radio today that Chase could not play a snap next year and still be drafted top.
Why didn't he come out last year?
I think he wasn't eligible. I think
so he's a sophomore.
Yeah, and I think actually he might be sitting out. It might be like sitting out this year. I don't know. I haven't done research on that. I heard something on the Twitter sphere about him sitting out this year potentially.
Well, elite wide receivers do make a team, not quarterbacks. So great point.
Haas All says Jags went all into tanking, like you said. That was my first thought.
No, it's not tanking. We're tank topping.
Tank topping.
If you're going to comment, it's tank topping.
It's Reese says I'm not hyped about Trevor Lawrence. You should be. He's a beast. He's
been a beast since he's a beast.
He's good.
Senior in high school.
I get the same feelings about him that I did Andrew Luck.
I would say Peyton Manning. I would say
I will be honest though. I was wrong about Jameis Winston. I thought he would be a generational quarterback in the NFL. He was so good at Florida State, and I was wrong about him. I also thought Tebow would be better, but I guess everyone's wrong sometimes. It's the dartboard, like I talked about earlier.
Yeah, but he's not a dartboard quarterback. He's like a John Elway. Like he's like a Marino that can run. He's dude, that guy. He did stuff his freshman year that quarterbacks in the NFL couldn't do.
Right.
Like it's not questionable. Yeah, he might have taken the year off last year because whatever. He's already a first-round pick. He could not play this year, and he's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
That guy is as guaranteed as guaranteed gets.
I'm almost hyped about Justin Fields, to be honest.
I agree. I mean, if it wasn't for Lawrence, Justin, I'd be like, dude, we've got to take Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's seriously. Just how good Lawrence is that he makes Justin Fields, who is like a elite quarterback with maybe some question marks, look not like an elite quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Brandon Duran says, do you guys think that there will be a clear-cut number one running back on the team, or do you think we rotate them depending on opponents?
Who cares?
In the first segment of the show, I referenced 2013 Cincinnati Bengals roster.
Okay, first of all, 2013 was 7 years ago.
I know. It feels like not that long ago. I mean, these guys.
I still had not silver in my go-to.
Andy Dalton, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Giovanni Bernard, Marvin Jones, AJ Green, Jermaine Gresham, Tyler Eifert. That does not seem like that long ago, but it was. But 2013, Jay Gruden, most successful offense ever. He platooned Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and Giovanni Bernard, and they had 220 attempts and 170 attempts, which, if my math is correct, is 390 attempts total, which is, I think, still under than what Fournette had last year.
I mean, not to call you out, but did you research the offensive line of the Bengals in 2013?
I didn't.
Because they were top 4.
That makes sense. But they
I
still didn't run
I made that up on the spot.
Well, I mean, they would have ran the ball probably more if they were top 4. They didn't run the ball a lot. They didn't run. That's my point, is they didn't run the ball. Reggie Nelson was on that Bengals team.
Really?
Ray Melaleuga, Vontez Burfict, Carlos Dunlap, or all the Gators are coming out of.
Legit team.
Pac-Man Jones.
Pac-Man before he
This
jumped
was
in the back
after.
of a truck and shot.
I
It was after. You're
yeah.
right.
Drake Kirkpatrick, James Harrison. What a team.
Dude, that team was loaded. We're not loaded.
What a team. Yeah, no, we don't have that. But yeah, no, I don't think there's a clear-cut number one. I think Chris Thompson ends up with the majority of the load because he can kind of handle the third down responsibilities. And I think we're going to find ourselves on third down a lot.
There's a question out there, man. Really, as Jaguar fans, because this is a Jaguar fan show, and we will be Jaguars fans forever. Good or bad, whatever happens, us still sitting here spending our time outside of family and friends. We're Jaguars fans. We're going to suck this year, man. We are going to suck. I want to be the voice of reason. Expectations need to be out the window. So pick your what's going to make you happy this year. If this ray of sunshine here or here or here, you got to choose that or it's going to be depressing.
I admittedly wasn't there. I wasn't all in with that comment until the Fournette stuff.
I know, but that
The
proves it. That's what I'm saying.
Fournette stuff really was dang, I resisted it for so long. But you do not cut your leading yard from scrimmage player 2 weeks before the season if you're trying to win.
Agreed. And
it does not happen.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think hanging on to him would have been we're giving false hope to everybody.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have him next year. So they're on the same pages at this point. So just agree.
Yeah. It's Reese says enable super chat. I have no idea what that means, but I would be interested for sure.
Super chat sounds
Google
awesome.
that. Christian Paraguin says, "What is tank topping?" LMAO.
It's the cool way to say tanking for Trevor.
We're gonna tank for Trevor, and
we're not tanking. We're tank topping.
Yeah, because who doesn't like a tank top?
Exactly.
Who doesn't like a tank top?
You can't be mad about a tank top. It's happy. It's summertime.
Christian says, "Well, Jameis is blind." Yeah, he is. Enable super chat. Oh God, enable super chat is picking up steam.
Okay,
and I have no idea what super chat is.
I have no clue. If Jason doesn't, can somebody that is commenting please tell us what super chat is and what it means?
I'm down. It sounds awesome.
It sounds way better than normal chat. Yeah. Obviously.
Shay J says, "Who has the best year? LaVisca, Colin Johnson, Conley, or Cole?"
Gee, that's a damn good question.
Who is the best?
Read them back again.
LaVisca, Colin Johnson, Conley, or Cole?
I think Johnson. I'm done with killing Cole, man. You don't drop that many balls that are in your hands in a year and be legit.
It has to be LaVisca. It has to be
hope.
LaVisca, right?
That's the easy pick.
It has to be LaVisca. I can't see a scenario where Colin Johnson plays better than LaVisca Chenault.
Johnson is balling him
I can't see a scenario where social activist Chris Conley has a better year than LaVisca Chenault. And I certainly can't see a situation where Keelan Cole has it. There's no way. I mean, LaVisca has to get touches. He's probably going to be the backup running back. I mean, Behind Chris Thompson? Is he not? Like I mean, Armstead's not it.
We're going Wildcat.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
That's I don't know. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think Laviska. If it's not Laviska, then Laviska might have been a miss.
But he's a rookie though. I mean,
so is Colin Johnson, and Chris Conley's not great, and Keelan Cole is washed. So I mean,
I think there's some trade value with Conley. Honestly,
we'll see. The Chiefs wouldn't even resign him, and he got like a $1 million deal from us. I don't know. Predator, in response to that question, says, "I would like to see Cole do decent, but I can also see Laviska and Johnson doing all right. But out of those, I'd put my money on Keelan Cole."
They're all the same guy though. They're all like a fourth like receiver on any other team that I think shine.
I mean, I think Laviska will be good. I mean, Laviska I think will be good. Keelan Cole, I mean, he's good for like one-handed catch a year. I mean, he's not good. He's not going to be your best receiver. Colin Johnson is. I'm getting Alan Lazard vibes from Colin Johnson. I don't know why.
It's literally like the new Keelan Cole as far as like everybody wants to believe in him.
He's gonna pop up and he's gonna pop up in Detroit, and we're gonna be like, oh, Colin Johnson. Remember, he was good for us.
Oh, he had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the blue.
Yeah,
great. Nothing ever after that.
Nick F, and this is no context to this, so good luck here. He says, the thing is I'm a Knicks fan too, so I was promised Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Zion Williamson last year, so I don't want to get too hopeful about Trevor Lawrence.
Well,
the NBA has a lottery.
The NFL draft is not rigged like the balls.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah. No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Knicks.
Really?
Yeah.
You a Patrick Ewing fan?
I'm a Magic fan, if you can tell by the jerseys on the wall. I'm a Magic fan, but my second team is I'm a Knicks fan.
How's that correlate? That's like,
I think I'm a closet Mario Hazonia homer, and he went to the Knicks. And
dude, the Knicks are
he's with
first of all, call them the Knickerbockers if you're gonna like be a fan.
I mean, I want to see the Knicks do well. And I was talking to someone the other day about maybe Giannis going to New York after his tenure in Milwaukee.
He get deported or something. Like, it would be like, come on, you can't be a Knicks fan.
Okay. Why Doc 5000 says, really depends on who gets more snaps. Laviska is promising, but I always like Keelan Cole.
Everybody loves Keelan Cole. I agree. How many balls did he drop in the past 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Cole is not even a question. Try to trade Cole. Let's try that. Put Cole on the free market. Nobody would pick him up.
Moon Illusions says, I think it's the donation system, referring to Super Chat.
Ah. So you can throw some money towards us.
If you threw some money at Joey, I would not be surprised if some clothes start coming off.
I'd show up with no shirt at least next time.
He could be convinced, I think.
I might do Sharpie marker tank top across my hairy chest.
Then you convince him to shed some clothing if some
donations
start rolling.
We need to look into this.
That's for sure. Nick F says, I like Cole. He wasn't even that bad last year. He wasn't. The whole offense was bad.
Not last year, but the year before, he lost the Philly game in London. He dropped everything. He literally did not catch a ball. And then he got almost cut.
Yeah, I thought Keelan Cole would be a candidate to be one of these guys that got cut, especially if Colin Johnson started playing so well. You can only keep so many receivers. I mean, keep 6 receivers is a lot of receivers to keep. A lot of times you don't see teams keep 6 receivers. And we start going through the lineup. You have DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, D.D. Westbrook, Chris Conley, Colin Johnson. That's 5.
Well, he's probably on the team because we're cutting all the top 4.
If we trade D.D., then I guess we're good there. Super Chat is where we can donate, looks like. Oh. Well, I'm humbled now, guys.
Hey, Jason drops the ball quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's
I appreciate it, guys. Just the fact you guys would even think about that is awesome. We love you guys. Shenault is probably your wide receiver number 3, so he can be the best one out of the group. Yeah, I think me and Chevy Truck are...
I agree, but I'm just trying to be overly positive or positive about anything.
You're trying to be unrealistic. I get it.
No, actually realistic. Where just bring it on. What's next? Chenault's going to get into a car wreck.
There's a Christian with a K in the chat, and there's a Christian with a CH in the chat.
Ooh.
And it is throwing me for an absolute loop.
That's all it takes.
Brady
shoot them both.
Brady Bauer. Man, this chat is. I'm not good. I'm not good at managing this chat. I'm sorry, so I'm gonna have to jump in here. My Chevy Truck says Cole, Conley, Westbrook are all free agents next year. Who y'all bringing back?
Cole, Connolly, and Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't want any of those guys.
None
back.
of them.
I don't want any of those guys.
Like
back.
not a single one.
They're
of them.
all leaving.
Yeah.
It's Reese says he's a Jags, Pacers, Brewers. That means you have some Midwest ties. I won't hold that against you.
Brewers?
Yeah, I mean that's that Milwaukee, Indiana. They're all the same, right? So apparently, because I now date a Midwest girl.
Midwest is awesome.
Apparently, once you
get
like north of Tennessee, it's like St.
Indiana,
Louis,
it's all,
and then Chicago. And
I
those are your
agree.
two landmarks north of Tennessee.
I don't have a problem with that. Like the whole dude that does like the Bush Latte, the Midwesterner YouTube guy, like that guy's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Can anyone else see how many passes he's dropped? I've tried looking it up. I only see one. LOL. Maybe.
Keelan Cole?
Maybe.
All right, I'll do the research for that.
He's not going to do research.
Even though I don't
Joey's
do that
not
ever,
gonna do
but I'll do that for the next one.
Moon Illusions brought up, would you guys sign Devontae Freeman? I think a lot of people have brought up Devontae Freeman in this chat.
They have, but I'm telling you, I drafted him 2 seasons ago, fantasy football. He did jack. He's 28. I looked it up because I didn't know earlier, which is a little bit early for him falling off the radar. But, dude, the Falcons, like, he had a ton of carries 2-3 years in a row. A ton.
He got a lot of snaps in Atlanta, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he got wore out, man. I would not draft him. I think he's past his prime.
Christian Ladier says Pelicans, Alabama, Yankees, and Jags are his teams. That's quite the assortment.
Pelicans?
The Yankees are kind of throwing me off there. But,
well, I mean, at least they win.
I mean, I guess I understand like Alabama, New Orleans, kind of the panhandle kind of thing. Yankees though, it's okay. I'm excited to see Chark rotating with Johnson. It says Predator. Yeah. I don't think Johnson's going to get as many snaps as people are hoping this year. But this year, again, is going to be whatever. Conley would have gotten over 1,000 yards if he didn't drop so many passes. That's true. Conley can run a slant route now. Okay, now don't
knock Conley, man.
And what was interesting, and I always bring this up, but this really stood out to me, and I don't know why, but when Nick Foles was in the game, he tried to force feed Chris Conley. Like pre-snap, looking at Conley, at the snap, head snap to Conley, rifling him the ball every single time. Like he wouldn't even throw it to DJ Chark. He would just throw it to Conley every time.
Conley is a smart dude. He's fast as crap, and he runs good routes. His hands might not be the best, but you give him 10, 12 throws a game, he's making 8 catches, and they're going to be productive. He just hasn't gotten that chance.
Nick F. says, no way we should sign Freeman. He's considerably worse than Fournette.
I agree. They're not going to do that. Either way, it doesn't matter if we should or not. They're not going to do that.
Bert DeFish says, Kamara to Jags for Vikings second rounder. Let's go. Yeah.
Dude, the Jags are not looking to make any moves.
Yeah,
man.
the problem with
you guys
Kamara,
are missing the point.
And look, I'm good with Kamara because I think he's people think of him as a running back, which he is. He plays out of the backfield, but he's a receiver. He's a receiver in your offense. That's what you got to think of him as. Same as Laviska. I think Laviska and Kamara are like very, very similar. Laviska's bigger, stronger, younger, has more, close to more potential. I don't know.
I feel like we're not doing our job, man.
Because people think we're still
based
trying
on
to
the
win next year.
questions. Like I feel like I haven't made the point, even though I've said it multiple times. We are not going to be good. we're going to be bad, like horrible.
Well, how about this question from the Buckner Empire? Are y'all ever going to do a live stream with UCF Jaguar again?
I hope.
That was a lot of fun.
It was.
If we can get UCF up here to Jacksonville, then we would be happy to do one with him, like the one we did. You should go back and check out the one we did.
It was super fun.
That was before we had the studio set up and we were doing it in my kitchen.
I think that we'll have to bring it back up because like neither one of us are going to be able to like get enough fans together to like actually care because we're going to suck next year, guys. This year.
Phil Caudry says Canucks, Jaguars, and the Athletics. Canucks are really random in there, but I have to admit I'm an Avalanche fan.
Super cool
So,
name. Canucks.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, Canuck. Let's. Man, it's been 74 minutes.
I want to go until like people start asking if we had this player would be better or not. Like
we have more in watching us now than we did when we started.
I hope
74 minutes
because
in.
they should be.
Shout out to you guys. We love it.
Because we're not paid by 1010XL or the Jaguars or ESPN or CBS Sports.
Really? We're not? It would appear
No,
we are
we're
paid
not.
by them given our quality of production.
It should be. It's on par with that. But my point being is like, come on, guys. Like, we've got to enjoy the ride for what it is.
Hey, we're going to enjoy it. Regardless if we win or lose, we're going to be here. We know you guys are going to be here. We love talking to you guys. This is actually one of the most fun shows we've done. I'll be honest with you. I love it.
Because it's freeing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
we're at the point to where, like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. We've got to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. It's Reese says if we lose, they get fired. Tank topping it is for me.
There you
Well,
go.
now we got to do it.
It's not
All right.
tanking. It's tank topping.
Let's end with this question from Moon Illusions, who's had some good comments and questions tonight.
He has.
He says, random question. If you could go on vacation anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Kona, Hawaii.
Wow.
Best vacation I've ever had.
That was without a pause.
No, without
hesitation.
pause.
That
Like,
was
had
good.
high expectations for it, and it, like, beat all of it. There was, like, 7 different, like, environments there as far as, like, rainforest, desert, all that. Best ever.
Anywhere in the world, like that's crazy. Like, there's some crazy exotic. I really want to go to like Hong Kong or like Shanghai or like somewhere in Asia because I love Asian food. Like, I freaking love Asian food. I know everyone says that, but I freaking love it. Okay,
I agree.
I want to go somewhere over there because I've never been to Asia. I've been to everywhere else. I've been to Australia. I've been all over the place. I want to go somewhere in Asia. That being said, I really like Volcano Beach. And I know that's like
I'm with you there.
it's like 30 minutes south of Jacksonville.
But seriously,
I really like
Dude,
Volcano Beach.
It's hilarious that you say that because like we went to Siesta Key, we got like a beach house, like all that. Like anytime like the family talks about vacation, I'm like, can we get a Volcano Beach house and just be done with it? Because it's like 30 minutes from here and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's so chill. One day, I'm going to retire there, and we're going to be doing Jaguars United videos from Volcano Beach.
I'm all in.
It's a great place to end it, I think. Thank you guys so much that have been in the live chat. I mean, we had more people in the live chat at the end than we did at the beginning, which is awesome. Shout out to you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get a notification. We try to do shows every Monday night live, but as you can see,
sometimes I mess it up.
It means
and
nothing.
Tuesdays.
And so if you're subscribed to the channel, you get a notification when we're live. You can check it out. Thank you guys so much that have been here. You guys had some great comments. You guys are awesome. This show would not the website.
It's
Jags,
like the Jags suck, but this is the best comments we've
this is
ever
it.
had.
This is so much fun, and we can have fun
amazing.
every week with you guys. It's going to be a good time. We love your comments. You guys keep it going. Check out the website. Check out the Twitter. Follow the Instagram. All that stuff. We will definitely be back next week with you for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Jags.
Tank topping.